If you love to learn techniques you haven't tried before, I've got one to share with you. Stay tuned to see how to do the polished stone technique. Hi, this is Sage Kimball and I'm the Mad Stamper with another technique video for card makers and paper crafters. To make this polished stone background, you'll need Glossy White Cardstock, which Stampin' Up! Has added back to their product line this year. You'll need some light colored ink refills, cotton balls, and some alcohol. You'll also want a waterproof surface to work on. I like to use a glove when I'm doing this because the alcohol dries out my fingers and the ink stains them. So I've taken a cotton ball and kind of opened it up so there's more surface area. I start by adding some alcohol to the cotton ball, and I want it pretty well saturated. You can do it with less alcohol and it'll give you a little different effect. But the alcohol is what allows the ink to spread, and I like that property. I'll start by adding some So Saffron dots on the cotton ball. Then some Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to add just one drop of Pool Party as an accent color. Now I'll take this cotton ball and start dabbing on the cardstock with it. As you do this, I like to rotate the cardstock so that the pattern varies throughout the entire background. And you can see it's not going to stay like this for very long. The alcohol will really move that ink around, and so it ends up looking more like this. And you can leave as much white showing as you want, or you can fill in the white areas. Really depends on the look that you're going for. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry. It's really important to let this dry completely before I stamp the image on top of it. Here are some things you need to know when doing this technique. When you stamp on glossy white cardstock, it's easy to smudge the image because it's so slick. And what I found is that if I get the stamp real close to the cardstock and make sure my block is parallel to the table and press straight down, then I can come out with an unsmudged image. Be sure to put your stamped piece aside to dry for quite a while, especially if you're using dye inks. In fact, go have lunch or something. I smudged some of my practice pieces because the ink looked dry, but it really wasn't, and I handled it too soon. You can use dye inks for your stamped images, like Memento Tuxedo Black or Stampin' Up! Archival Black, and any of our classic ink pads. I also tried Black StazOn, which can smudge just as much as the others when you stamp. It still doesn't dry immediately, but it's a lot faster than the dye inks. Let me show you some of the combinations I used on the cards I made. I really recommend that you experiment on scraps like this so you can find the color combinations you like best before you start working on a card. Both of these cards use a background with Pool Party and Soft Sky. On this one I used a background layer that has a little bit of Wisteria Wonder, so there's a little more contrast with the artwork. Here's the same background I demonstrated earlier with the dragonfly and sentiment stamped with Tranquil Tide ink. I really like this combination of Sahara Sand and Crumb Cake. On the second piece, I added some soft suede, which made it much darker. This is one of my favorites and uses smoky slate and Sahara sand for a kind of stormy effect. Now it's your turn to play. Get out your ink refills and some glossy white cardstock and start experimenting. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. For more inspiration and instruction, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at www.stampingmadly.com. Visit me on my Facebook and Pinterest pages, and don't miss another great video. Subscribe to the Mad Stamper YouTube channel now.